What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode review for The Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2. This is episode 6, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
I have mixed feelings on this episode. I mean, it was a decent episode, but in my opinion, it just seems like the story still went by too fast, in my opinion. And there was a lot of questions I had in terms of like certain characters just appearing out of nowhere, which we'll get to it in a bit. But the episode picks up immediately after the last one, in which we find out that Ost is not merely a familiar, but she's the physical manifestation of the Spirit Tortoise itself. So Naofumi and the others are trying to figure out a way to defeat the Spirit Tortoise, while at the same time, the tortoise ends up regenerating its head, and the army is about to try to face it down again. But fortunately, what was it? Victoria ends up coming in to fight the Spirit Tortoise herself on the outside, while Naofumi and the others are trying to figure out how to defeat it on the inside.
Yeah. I mean, while they're fighting Kyo, which I'm not sure how I feel about Kyo as a villain, but I'm just kind of I don't fully understand like his motivations, I guess. Like apparently we know he comes from Glass and Lark's world, and he just wants to destroy this one. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know, maybe I missed it, or it just feels like it's never really explained. It seems like more like he just takes pleasure in what he's doing, I guess. Like he just finds it funny. I don't know.
He really, in reality, he really wants to do it. He's doing his own way of trying to destroy the other world in order to save his own. Just like Lark and Glass were trying to do when they were trying to kill Naofumi and the other three heroes, because that was their objective. But
now they're trying they're trying to save their world because it affects theirs. Is what I remember they said.
Yeah, but of course, Lark and Glass call Kyo out by telling him that his methods don't really work, and they're counterproductive to what they were trying to do in the first place. So, but of course, Kyo doesn't really care, and then decides to use the power of the tortoise himself. To pretty much destroy everyone around him. So now from the others are trying to destroy the heart, but Kyo ends up using an ability to put up a shield to protect it. While at the same time, he uses all these different abilities, like using like some kind of gravity ability to put everyone down. While that's happening, he ends up beating up Naofumi, pretty much berating Naofumi over supposedly over his uselessness. But surprisingly, Kyo also brings up that he's also using the other three heroes as some kind of battery to power up the tortoise. Now, I'm bringing this up is because they just brought out the other three heroes out of nowhere. But the reason they never really showed the reason of how they really even got caught in the first place. Now, in the light novel, I did mention this in the prior reviews several times before. The other three heroes did take part in the battle earlier than this, but they went MIA, in the middle of that battle, and we never heard from them ever since. While in this one, they just show up out of nowhere. They end up getting captured out of nowhere, and there's no explanation of how they even got there, in the first place.
I actually wasn't too surprised by this, considering I think I could be wrong, but I think this is actually kind of teased in the opening, where I think you briefly see them captured or something.
Yeah.
So I kind of, so I was like, oh, so that's what they were planning to do with the other heroes, I guess, is just have them captured and used as hostages or something.
Yeah, but but they never, the anime never really shows or explains like how they even got there in the first place. While the light novel, they actually did take part, in the battle by showing off like what actually happened to them and the rest of their team that they were fighting with.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of like just shows how useless they are if all three of them got captured like that. I mean, I was kind of like, I kind of wish they maybe explained how that happened.
Well, okay. So in the first episode of the season, like we see all the other three heroes just flat out refuse to take part in this battle, and they said they have, better things to do than taking down the Spirit Tortoise. In the light novel, they give an explanation of why they want to, take part in the battle was because, of course, like the other three heroes besides Naofumi treat the world that they're in like some kind of video game, which is partly true in some sense. But the reason why they wanted to fight the Spirit Tortoise is because they felt like they could get like a bigger reward off like, beating it in the first place. But, their recklessness and and their selfish nature of like, treating this like it's a game was their ultimate downfall.
Yeah, I think that would have been more interesting as opposed to just them getting captured if they had actually done it that way.
Yeah, it's just unless they're gonna, reveal it in later episodes. But I just feel like that could have been a more better time, for them to explain it rather than just saying like, oh, we're not going to take part in it, only for them to reveal that they were already captured in the first place up to this point.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, they could maybe explain it in a future episode. Which, I mean, I kind of feel like they have to at this point, because otherwise we're just kind of left wondering how they got captured anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they kind of need to explain where they've been this whole time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure they might reveal it, but it's just the way they handled this is a little bit sloppy, in my opinion. It's just, maybe it's because they wanted to trim down a lot of stuff like they just did with adapting like volumes 6 and 7 already in, under 6 episodes.
Yeah, they obviously wanted to rush through the Spirit Tortoise arc. I think that much. I mean, for anybody, I guess, who's read the light novel, and there's that much is pretty obvious at this point. Mm-hmm. They just they really just wanted to get it over with.
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, Naofumi and the others are pinned down by Kyo's gravity magic, but surprisingly, Rishia, supposedly because she's able to master ki from like what was it? I forgot that old woman that's who's
the old martial artist woman.
Yeah. So apparently, because she was able to master her ki, is able to resist the gravity spell and fight Kyo on even terms.
Yeah. Her character at this point kind of feels like it does a complete 180, honestly.
Yeah.
Because as far as we know, she's like meek and timid, and then all of a sudden she's just becomes very confident, and can just go toe to toe with Kyo.
Yeah, and while that's happening, Ost grants to the power of the Spirit Tortoise to Naofumi, and of course, I think is able to break the spell, the gravity magic spell, to free Naofumi and the others. So,
real quick too, like I kind of thought about something while watching this episode. Like, if you remember, it was revealed in the last episode that Ost could just be killed, and then supposedly the Spirit Tortoise would be killed as well. And Kyo tells them as much. Now, like I feel like this was really stupid on his part. Because like unless he knows for a fact that Naofumi and the others will not just turn around and kill her, why would he tell them that? Like, because I mean, like, he doesn't know for sure they're not going to just do that, right? Like, I mean, of course they're not going to do it. They don't do it, but like, how is he to assume that's not the kind of person he is? Like, maybe Naofumi would just turn around and kill her, and then his entire plan just falls apart. I kind of thought that was dumb. I don't know, unless he had like a backup plan or something. But I kind of thought about that. I was like,
we
why
already
would he just?
Well, yeah, we already found out later that Kyo's already had a backup plan.
Yeah, like, he does, regardless. But We do, yeah, that is true. We do find that out.
Yeah. Once everyone's free from the gravity spell, what was it? Lark and the others go out to find the heart, while what was it? Victoria's still outside fighting the spirit tortoise, trying to decapitate its head again. Risha also at the same time manages to free the other three heroes from their containment. And then once Lark and the others manage to destroy the heart, it manages to release the shield up around the core of the spirit tortoise. And now Fumi is, of course, ready to finish it off with, I guess, with his blood sacrifice ability. But he stops short of using it. And then shortly afterwards, Ost grants Naofumi to use the spirit tortoise shield, and he uses it. Well, actually, she forces Naofumi to use the spirit tortoise shield to pretty much destroy the core completely.
Yeah, which gives him a new shield and I guess a new ability. He has the turtle shield now.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't he have his the rage shield or whatever? It gets taken away from him, I guess, in exchange for the spirit tortoise. They're the turtle shield. I guess.
I have no idea if he either loses it or if just, or maybe I don't know if he still has it, or maybe it just got replaced by the spirit tortoise shield. But
that's what it seemed like. I think they said that replaces his that rage ability or something.
Yeah.
At least I think Ost kind of explains that.
Yeah. But anyway, Kyo, of course, just feigns defeat and decides to use what was it? He uses a vial of soul energy to open up a portal to his world, and now Fumi and the others try to go out and follow him, but now Fumi can't get in due to his inability to invade another world. Before Ost gives Naofumi and his party permission to travel to the other world, and then shortly after, they say their goodbyes. Naofumi and the others travel to the other world, and then as soon as Ost dies, the spirit tortoise dies as well, and supposedly it's the souls it consumed ended up bringing back life to the wastelands around, all around the outside.
Yeah. We should mention too that while they were fighting Kyo, we also have a fight scene between the spirit tortoise and Vittoria, which I thought actually looked okay, considering that I know a lot of people were kind of shitting on the spirit tortoise CG and animation, but fortunately, for the most part in some of these scenes, those spirit tortoise is actually hand drawn, which kind of surprised me. It felt like they kind of put most of the budget, I guess, into the scene, and also Vittoria is not CG either. If anyone remembers, in the first season, she was a giant CG bird, but here she's hand drawn for the most part. So I actually thought that looked pretty good. I actually thought that it was pretty, it didn't look too bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, as opposed to all the other scenes with the spirit tortoise where it looked like a really bad, not a very good looking CG model. So yeah, it definitely looks better in that scene. But yeah, overall, I thought it was an okay episode. I'm not a light novel reader, so I'm not exactly sure how much, obviously, as with the, the heroes, being hostages or whatever, I think that was kind of weird, considering I felt like it kind of made them seem more useless, considering the fact that they just got caught like that. I kind of hope they explain that, later, where they maybe explain how the heroes got caught.
Yeah, because in the light novel, the other three heroes had a much bigger role in it. I'm just curious as to what the creative decision was to completely sideline them like that.
Yeah, at least if they're going to do that, I would hope that they have a good explanation for how they got in that position. But for the most part, I found the episode enjoyable. I don't really know how I feel about Kyo as a villain. I think he comes off as very over the top, to be honest. And it's kind of cartoonish in a way, like where he just feels like he's evil just for the sake of it. Like maybe they'll have like he has a backstory later or something where he gets his character fleshed out, but for now he just feels like a cartoon villain to me. I can't really take him that seriously.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know if he's going to be the villain in the next arc, but I mean, I guess he probably will be, considering they're going after him.
There's also the issue of like where exactly Mine is, because we don't really see her with Moriyasu at the moment.
Well, as we know, she's kind of always tagging along with him too, so it's kind of strange how she's not anywhere to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, she's still. I mean, obviously, we can still count her like as some kind of major villain later down the road, but it's we as of right now we just don't know what her status is, nor any of the other 3 hero team members that ended up tagging along with them.
Yeah. Well, I will say I also liked what they did with Risha in this episode. I kind of like her a little bit more as a character now, but I mean it did feel kind of out of nowhere, like, how this happens. Like, I don't know how it is in the light novel, but this whole like that's which is why I said it was just a total like 180 just all of a sudden, where her character starts, she kind of acts completely differently than she usually does. But I don't know, like I did like, she at least for once actually tried to do something. So I mean, I don't know, maybe her character is going to go back to being how she usually is when they get to the next episode.
The thing about Risha in that moment, like she ended up being in this episode, she ended up flipping the switch of sorts after what's happening in Naofumi. But it's more that of what's happening to Itsuki when he was being held prisoner, and that pretty much motivated her to to go up and fight Kyo on even terms. But they just didn't really get into that.
It would have been a little bit better if maybe they kind of, I guess, went into her mental state where it might have better explained why she just all of a sudden, like you said, flipped the switch like that and was like kind of felt like a little bit of a different character. Maybe if she was so concerned for Itsuki's safety that she just had to actually take a stand for once and do something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, I thought it was an okay episode. I don't really have too much to say about it. I'm very interested in what's going to happen in the next arc now, considering they're going to Glass's world, and I think we've seen maybe some of it, but we haven't actually obviously we haven't been there. So I'm kind of interested to see what that looks like. And obviously if Naofumi's going to end up teaming up with Glass and the rest of them, I guess maybe to go after Kyo or whatever, that's kind of interesting. I'm kind of interested to see what's going to happen there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, it definitely seems like they definitely rushed through this arc and they wanted to get it over with. And they kind of felt that way in this episode and the episodes before this one, where they were really just trying to get to the end.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I guess obviously maybe the arc is way better in the light novel. I don't know, but I mean, as an anime only, like I thought the arc was okay, but definitely very weak in what it was, in my opinion. I wasn't really invested in the whole Spirit Tortoise thing. I felt bad for Ost by the end of it, especially with the way she, I guess, quote unquote, dies. Like, I know she said she wants to be reincarnated or whatever. I don't know if maybe they're gonna do something with that, but yeah, like I don't know. I thought it was an okay arc, but definitely so far from what I've seen from the anime, definitely the weakest one.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe not the best arc to start off the second season, but hopefully the next one will improve upon it. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it's just in my opinion, I really felt like I don't know. It didn't make it any better when they cut a lot of stuff, especially some character interactions in regards to Naofumi and Itsuki talking about Risha getting kicked out of Itsuki's party in the first place, and of course their so-called lack of involvement against the Spirit Tortoise, yet they somehow get captured without any explanation of being there in the first place. And speaking of Ost, I really do feel like that it's it's possible that she might come back as a character, considering that she was the one who gave Naofumi the ability to use the Spirit Tortoise shield.
Yeah. I kind of hope so. Like, I mean, I feel like that line about her being reincarnated might have been like a hint. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of hope she comes back. Yeah, I don't really have too much else. Aside from that, I don't really have too much else to say about the episode. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
I mean, it was okay, but it just felt a little bit underwhelming in my opinion. It's just, like I said, just certain plot points got cut out from the light novel, and I really felt like they just kind of rushed it for the sake of it.
Yeah, I definitely got that feeling. But like I said, hopefully, maybe they'll do into the next arc better. I guess that's all we can really hope for at this point, considering they're pretty much already done with the Spirit Tortoise arc. So I guess we can only hope that they maybe do more justice to the next arc. I don't know. I guess without spoiling anything, what is the next arc called? Does it have like a name, or is it just like?
I haven't read that part yet, so I don't know. So I'm kind of going into it blind right now. So, but we do know like they are going into Glass and Lark's world for the first time, and I'm curious to see like how that world is going to work compared to the one Naofumi and the others lived in for the past how long they've been there for.
Yeah, guys. Well, with that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.